Peter Parker, the relatable superhero. He's just like you and me, shredded, a scientific genius, and shagging an uncountable amount of babes. Business as usual. All the bitches love Spider-Man. Maybe it's the physique, maybe it's because he's a genuinely good guy on the inside. Maybe it's the cool bike. We've seen all the big ones, Mary Jane Watson, Gwen Stacy, Black Cat, oh my. But there's been quite a few Parker playmates that we don't really see anymore. So let's see what went wrong with these lost ladies in the forgotten loves of Spider-Man. Starting off with the one with the coolest name, we've got Cissy Ironwood. She's the main love interest of Marvel Team Up, so I hope you're ready for more heroes than just the webhead. This total babe apparently only appeared in issues 80, 81, 90, and Annual 2, so screw it, let's look at them all and see if we can find out why it didn't work out between her and Sweet Pete. Oh, Marvel Team Up number 80, that's her debut. We've actually already done this one in October, it's the Doctor Strange domestic abuse issue. I remember thanks to this masterpiece of a page. But this time the focus won't be on Werewolf Strange. So we never see Cissy actually meet Peter, they're already out on a date as the issue opens, walking home through Central Park. The fact that they met off screen doesn't bode well for her character importance, does it? Mid-date, a werewolf attacks Peter and Priscilla, but, unlike usually, it's not because Peter's secretly Spider-Man, this was pure random chance. Peter defends Cissy from the fairy felon, and to her credit, she doesn't run away until she's pretty sure Peter's already dead. She doesn't just abandon him. Cissy sprints to the nearest policeman, but her fluffy friend is right on her ass. Literally. These two buff dudes can't help her. The armed officer can't help her. So Cissy's lucky that Peter isn't dead after all. Street-clothed Spidey sorts out the werewolf, and curiously, finds Doctor Strange's Eye of Agamotto in the aftermath. Peter gets Cissy to the hospital, where he thinks she'll be safe, until he gets to the bottom of this canine caper. You know what, actually mate, I'm not going to go over both of these issues again in full just to kill time. Cissy spends the rest of this story arc in hospital, unconscious. There is, however, a very cool fight scene where Werewolf Strange tries to finish Cissy off, but our web-headed hero outmuscles the magical mongrel. When the fight spills into Cissy's room, she speaks in her sleep, revealing she genuinely does care about Peter's well-being. She is a little sweetheart, isn't she? And though she's not awake to know it, she does receive a spider smooch.
Lucky?
So far, she's wife material. Let's see what issue 90 has to say about it. This time, Spider-Man teams up with Beast from X-Men. Why did Marvel used to push Beast so hard? He's not that cool. He was in X-Men. He was an Avenger. He was in Enter Electro on the PS1, for God's sake.
Beast, what's got you bounding about? Not a sentinel attack, I hope.
Peter and Cissy are at the ESU Tech Exhibition, where they spot the Beast, also here to check out the expo. Getting accosted by a gaggle of girls, how come Beast gets this treatment? While Nightcrawler gets this treatment? Not cool. Look at these two down here, Cissy's head over heels for Peter. I'm a bit gutted we never find out why. We've never seen these two meet, but it must have been something special for Cissy to be so in love. Oh, hang on, never mind. Cissy is also curious about just how fuzzy the Beast can be. Ooh, you've changed your tune, love. Two supervillains also attack the expo. We've got Killer Shrike and the Modular Man. Who the hell? Some scientist dude who scrambled those molecules, so now he's a weird skeleton, I suppose. Sexy Beast and Spidey get their asses kicked, but who cares about pulse-pounding Marvel action? Where is our precious Priscilla? There she is. After the bad guys escape, Peter finds her fawning over a piece of the Beast's shirt. Now I kinda see that this might not work out. She seems a bit of an airhead, but she does offer Peter to come round and watch TV. We know what that's code for, but Parker doesn't want Hank McCoy's sloppy seconds, so he refuses. And again, She just vanishes after this. Marvel must have known they needed a one-off girl for the team-up book, because Cissy sure isn't getting much play, is she? One final shot now. Marvel Team-Up Annual 2 with the Hulk. Well hey, 4th of July and the fireworks aren't only in the sky. Mate, she's so horny for him, she's basically dragging him into her bedroom. It's a shame that this crimson cockblocker scratches in. It's the Crimson Dynamo, one of Iron Man's many Russian foes. But what does he want with Peter Parker? Well, it turns out, nothing. He doesn't want Peter, it's Cissy the Dynamo's after. And he's not alone. His Cold War colleagues have already taken her father, a professor of cosmology, and now, thanks to Dark Star and Vanguard, they have Cissy too. But what could the Ironwood family have done to earn the wrath of the Soviet Union? That's what Spidey aims to find out, with a little help from his friends. Spider-Man and Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic uncover an equation by Professor Ironwood that'll turn the Cold War into a cold Armageddon. The formula for an antimatter bomb. And Ironwood's one of the only minds on the planet capable of bringing this work to life. This whole plot is masterminded by a bitter ex-KGB agent known as Kutzov, who thinks Russia's bowed to America like cowards. Through false documents, he's recruited the Dynamo, Vanguard, and Dark Star to kidnap the Ironwoods, to force them into building his bomb, giving Kutzov the most powerful weapon on Earth. Professor Ironwood's disgusted, but he's got no choice but to build the weapon. His dear daughter's at stake. He must. But Danny isn't the only one looking out for Cissy. The Hulk smashes in. Oh yeah, and Spidey's here too. Hulk's here with an agent of the US government to stop the Russian plot, but Spidey's tracked them down to save his damsel. But the wall crawler might be too late. The bomb is complete. Move it, Spidey, move it. Ooh, too late, Spider-Man. Before he can bonk out the bad guy, the bomb is activated. If the twin spheres of the bomb meet, the entire world will be torn apart by the antimatter monstrosity. So the Hulk decides to not let the twin spheres meet. Jesus, the Hulk pushes so hard on one of the spheres, it leaves the stratosphere. I really do need to read some more Hulk. But the tale of triumph turns to tragedy as Hulk's teammate shoots Professor Ironwood, an act that Ironwood considers right. He alone can create the ultimate weapon, so the knowledge dies with him. Billions are saved at the cost of one. But again, mate, Cissy had nothing to do. She was just a hostage. Marvel didn't even give her a chance. They met off screen. She never even appeared in the main book of Amazing Spider-Man. And then she left Peter's life just as quickly as she'd entered it. I'm genuinely baffled. She was nothing but a damsel in distress the whole time. She added nothing. What a waste. What was the point then? Who've we got next? Deborah Whitman. Doesn't really fit the criteria. She was in my favourite Spidey cartoon, and there's many an online essay about her being crazy, so we're not going to do Deborah. The story did have a pretty good ending though, but instead, we're going to drudge through the dark age of Spider-Man, brand new day, and have a look at a spicy Latina. Michelle Gonzales is an absolute bitch who once woke up in bed next to Spider-Man. During the brand new can't even say it, mate. During BND, Peter was roommates with a policeman called Vin Gonzales who seemed like an alright guy. Until it was revealed that Vin was part of a police conspiracy to plant spider traces on dead bodies, framing Spidey for the murder. Vin went to jail and Peter was down a roommate for about a month. Returning home from a Fantastic Four adventure, Peter was shocked to find Michelle, Vin's lawyer sister. She's been watching her brother's stuff while she worked on his case. And seeing as she usually lives in Chicago, Michelle has no choice but to move right on in. But hey, even during the worst storytelling in Spidey's life, at least he makes the most out of the situation. Peter even invited her to Aunt May's wedding when she got married to J. Jonah Jameson's dad. Well, it's more that she invited herself, but still, maybe she's not so bad after all. But when Peter sees Mary Jane for the first time since One More Day, Parker gets hammered waking up the next morning next to Michelle. Not that these two were sweet anyway, but after this it gets really sour. Peter was so smashed he doesn't remember anything, and Michelle takes that personally. Days of silence follow, but remember, Michelle's a lawyer, and they love a good argument. She finally confronts Peter over the state of their relationship, but even her loud mouth is left in stunned silence when Peter suddenly snogs her. Are we witnessing the return of Peter the Player Parker? I'm afraid not. This isn't Peter Parker at all, it's everyone's favourite bad guy, Spider-Man's greatest villain, the original, the very first, Spidey's first rogue ever since The Amazing Spider-Man, Issue 1. The Chameleon! He stole Peter's life and his new bed, and whatever pathetic reputation Peter had after one more day is about to be ruined even further. Spider-Man of course kicked Chameleon's ass, but the damage has already been done. Michelle now believes she and Peter are in a real relationship, the last thing the real Peter wants. I personally don't know what he's moaning at. Surely this is better than the constant ripping into him and making his home life hell. To be fair, Peter doesn't string her along. He explains the whole Chameleon situation to her and reiterates that they are not going out and never will. She doesn't buy it, but at least they're on the same page again. Not a couple. She is pretty hot though. I've basically said all there is to say about Michelle now. She's back to causing Peter trouble, and she more or less keeps consistent until issue 648. An issue with the unholy combination of Dan Slott and Humberto Ramos. Slott's full-time takeover of Spider-Man starts with Michelle leaving now that her brother has served his time, back to Chicago, and never seen since. Just like the rest of Brand New Day, Michelle was only created to cause Peter suffering. She had no plot relevance except to showcase how lame and ineffective Peter's new characterization was. Very stereotypical too, with the stock angry Latina personality. I've read enough Brand New Day garbage, let's now take a look at a better regarded period of Spider-Man, please. Haha, got ya, we're actually looking at the 90s. Nah, but really, honestly, I enjoy the Clone Saga period, but maybe that's just because I didn't have to wait months between issues. I read it all in one glorious binge, and it was sick. Next we've got the sad story of Jessica. The title of this video is The Forgotten Loves of Spider-Man, not The Forgotten Loves of Peter Parker, and so this lovely lady is tied to the second man to take the Web-Slingers title, the sensational Ben Reilly. Or was he actually the first Spider-Man? Or... Even before Jessica was on Spidey's radar, he was certainly on hers. Upon laying eyes on the webhead, Jess is immediately in panic mode, lamenting how she never thought she'd get the chance to see Spidey in person. What's their connection to the wall crawler? Wait and see. Despite New York having literally millions of people, Jessica comes into contact with the man behind the mask soon after. They have a cute little meeting at Ben's coffee house job and immediately fancy each other. Parker, look, my arse mate. And it's not just because of looks either. Jessica is a student of photography at ESU, and during his life as Peter Parker, Ben had some experience in that field, didn't he? During a heart-to-heart, we learned Jessica is also an orphan. Her mother died when she was a baby, and her dad, oh boy. Jessica's father was a great man who was up against too much. He tried to help her whenever he could, but his life was tragically cut short. Why does Spidey target girls with daddy issues? Not even Jess's weird obsession with Spider-Man puts Ben off. He even encourages her to take her spider shots to the Bugle. This is nice, they're getting on great so far. With Peter Parker out of town permanently, Jessica's looking to become Spidey's primary paparazzi, no matter how dangerous the job might be. Let's hope she's half as dedicated to Ben. It's quite nice how quickly these two grow close, and that usual hustle and bustle of superheroics doesn't scare Jess off. If her man comes home sporting new bruises, her focus is kissing them better. In all honesty, it's the fascination with Spider-Man that makes Ben a bit suspicious. Most of the time when people get this obsessed with his masked alter ego, it's because they want him dead, and something about a photograph of a dad seems awfully familiar to Ben. She's got a whole room covered in shots of Spider-Man, for God's sake. Her claims of checking what shots outdo others is shot down by Ben, and the first cracks in this relationship begin to form. No one has ever truly trusted Jessica. She's floated from foster home to foster home thanks to a dead mum and a father who, as we learn here, was in prison for a crime she believes he didn't commit. An old man pulled a gun on her dad, and it went off in the struggle. Had he only been defending himself? I don't know, you know. And that accursed Spider-Man had her father put away anyway. Spider-Man's crusade against crime is the reason Jess's childhood was so grim. She finally admits she hates the webhead with her entire soul. So it's gonna be a bit hard for Ben to date his alter ego's biggest hater. That'd be like Peter going out with Jameson. Oh my, Jessica doesn't just claim Spider-Man arrested her father, she claims he murdered him. Who the hell was her father anyway? Who is this man Spider-Man apparently killed in cold blood? Digitally enhancing the photo gives us our answer. The burglar. The man named Carradine. The man who murdered Uncle Ben. The same one who died in fear of battle in Spider-Man in the classic issue 200. That's around the time Mysterio had his nursing home scam. After this revelation, Ben starts drifting away from Jess. Maybe it's because he gets possessed by the Carnage symbiote. Or maybe it's because he doesn't know how to deal with the truth of her parentage. But he does still have enough love left to not hurt her, even while he's ensnared by the most bloodthirsty symbiote of all. Ben soon successfully sheds his sinister second skin, and the two make up. But when you are, or used to be, Peter Parker, things are never that easy. The end begins in the sensational Spider-Man, issue 4. We all know this can't go on. Jessica must have been taking lessons in ignorance from JJ himself, because no matter what Ben says, Jess is sure that Spidey killed her dad. What's the actual plan now, Ben? Marry Jessica and have little spider babies while making sure she never learns that you are the person she hates the most in the world. Ben has to run out on Jessica mid-date to take down some run-of-the-mill jewellery store robbers, but Ben's not the only one with a job to do. Her photo hobby is about to snap shut Jessica's life with Ben. These no-name average punks are about to cause more damage to Spidey's life than the Vulture ever could. Though Spidey saves the day and loses the cops, he hasn't escaped all the prying eyes. Through Jessica's camera lens, her worst nightmare comes true. The man she loves is the man she hates. Ben Reilly is Spider-Man. You're a bit slow on that one, weren't you, Spider-Sense? Nice one. A furious Jessica storms off, leaving Ben heartbroken, but what he should be doing is worrying. This lady really hates Spider-Man, and now she's got evidence of the man behind the mask. Which makes her suspect number 1 when Ben's life begins falling apart. His apartment gets ransacked. His workplace gets burned to the ground. The small comforts the new Spidey had built up are all suddenly being torn away from him. Is this the burglar's final revenge against Spider-Man, conducted through his sexy daughter? No! She hates Spider-Man, but she does love Ben Reilly. Jessica hasn't told a soul about the web-headed hero's true name. But Ben might find that hard to believe. Remember when I said Jessica was sad that no one ever trusts her? Well, all those sad feelings come crashing back to her when Ben accuses her of masterminding the latest plot to destroy Spider-Man. He tells her to stay out of his life and swings away, giving the relationship a final ending that the poor girl didn't really deserve. Oh, but Ben later feels that familiar sting of guilt. His adventure reveals the true cause of his destroyed life. The Hobgoblin, yes mate, bloody love him. Hobgoblin reveals it was he who burned down Ben's workplace and destroyed his apartment, clearing Jessica. But is it already too late? If anything these two had was ever real, maybe they can fix this mess they've made of the relationship. Ben arrives and, now knowing the truth, apologizes to Jessica, and she almost accepts. But then that true Parker look kicks in. When Ben mentions the photo Jess took, she believes he only come over to sweet talk her into destroying the evidence of his secret ID. Devastated, she kicks him out. Now, poor Jessica is truly conflicted. But deep down, she knows that Ben couldn't possibly have done all the horrible things she believes Spider-Man had done. After all, what kind of man is Ben Reilly? The kind who'd swing into a burning building to save children, that's the kind. Ben's latest blaze of heroism finally lifts the smoke on Jessica's beliefs. Spider-Man is a hero. Jess gives up the photographs and vanishes from Ben's life, too ashamed of what she had almost done to face him again. But she does visit some other Parkers. Jessica's final act in this story is to leave flowers on Uncle Ben's grave, an apology for what her father had done, and an apology for taking so long to find out the truth. Jessica never sees Ben again. So they never make up in time. Mate, the story here was fantastic. The drama of Jess being the child of the man who had the most effect on Peter's life ties her deeper into the overall story of Spider-Man than almost every other love interest. We all know that Gwen Stacy had a similar love-hate relationship with Spider-Man. Hell, she even also believed that Spidey killed her dad, but Jess let us see that story play out in full, while Gwen died before learning who her boyfriend really was. Also, Jess being on her own for so long gave her a great parallel to Ben himself, who was rebuilding a life he had lost long ago. Both were loners who really only had each other. I think there's still story to be told with Jessica, but not while they're still ruining Ben with that chasm crap. Maybe next decade if someone with their head on straight gets to write the Spider books. Marvel, hit me up. But seriously, no matter what Marvel tries to tell you, Peter's one true love is Mary Jane. She's the only one to love him completely for who he is, both sides of the mask. And the fact that they're still not allowed to be together in modern comics is disgusting. She's so much more than just a love interest, she's got so much character and history. Like a determination to avoid the mistakes of her mother and sister. Her strong trust with Peter even when things are rough. And a willingness to protect her husband make her not only one of the best supporting characters in comics, but one of the best characters in general. Tell you what does make me sad though, in the Sin Eater storyline, the scene where Spider-Man finds photos owned by the recently murdered police captain Jean DeWolf of him and her, hinting that before she died she did really like Spidey, and Spidey had liked her back. The thoughts of what could have been. So I suppose, in conclusion, bitches love Spider-Man. Oh no, he's getting through. He's too powerful. We can't stop him. Brace for impact. Listen to me very carefully. Keep your asses to the wall and hide your kids, because we've got one more forgotten love breaking in. And let's just say my list of Spidey's love is here isn't the only register that this fella's on. Long ago, before the spider bite, before the burglar, before great power and responsibility, there was Skip Westcott. It started off so innocent. Bullied bookworm Peter Parker never had a friend to call his own. So when Stephen Skip Westcott entered the young lad's life, it seemed Pete's prayers had finally been answered. Skip helped him to study, walked him home, kept the bullies away. Even Aunt May loves Skip. But monsters always hide in plain sight. The dirty magazines came out, and the poses. Oh god, the poses! Spider-Man, the relatable hero. He has trouble paying rent, he has girl problems, he gets molested. He's just like you and me. Mate, I bet you Ben beat the shit out of Skip when Peter told him the truth. Maybe that's why we don't see Skip in the Amazing Spider-Man books. Ben killed him. Or at least he scared him off like he did with that other weirdo from Peter's youth, Charlie Wienerman. Remember him from Skin Deep? Yeah. No one molests Ben Parker's boy.